And we know there's a fucking great big hole of a problem for every sportsman, every coach who falls off that cliff at the end of their career. And then they scrabble around, get shafted by 2 or 3 insurance companies, 2 or 3 property companies, because they bring in their black book and then they take it and then they don't get the value.
So I think the big issue with sport is that middle group. So if you're top tier and you're a test player and you're a recognisable name, I think that transition is relatively easy. And if you're in the bottom group where you're always struggling to make a contract, then in the back of your mind, you know you're going to have to find alternative employment or career. But it's the bulk of players that sit in the middle that get their 100 grand and they think that's going to be sustainable forever. And these are the people that are not proactive in their middle of the rugby careers when they need to be. And they're the ones that when actually they have got some sort of value to the name, they have to trade in it when they're actually playing. I thought what the world looks like outside sport. I've never been outside sport, never been outside rugby. I've been fortunate to have a reasonably smooth transition through coaching. But the last couple of years I've taken some dinks, and it does make you think about what next, or is there an alternative?
Is using their network and their interests. Like Tim said, he did something after his career he wasn't particularly passionate about. But the more and more he went on, he got into things that's given him a bit more stability, and he's had a bit more passion about. And I think that's important for the players so that they use the network, creatively to their advantage.
A lot of the players now will be in my situation where you won't have any qualifications. So then it's very difficult to decide what you want to go into. And like Stimo says, where's your passion? Because your passion has been in rugby, only rugby, and it's never been anything else. So you don't know what you want to do. For me, if they had an outside influence and when they prepare, when they're doing something else, I think they would be better people and better rugby players. Because if I played rugby all my life, right, I would be one boring git. I think for me, it's preparing for the next step. That is crucial for me. And I think when you do get it, as Timo said, no, he settled down. Even when I was never busier when I finished playing, because people wanted you all the time. You gotta say no. It's too much, and you, as Timo said, you overcommit because you don't, and you're scared of the unknown. So you say yes to everybody because you don't know when that's going to stop.
So I think that idea of having a structure outside of rugby to mentor you, to prepare you, that life plan, the financial plan, I'd also say like a family plan. That you have a lot of issues around divorce and depression in sport, especially cricket, where it isn't seen as I think the family gets split. It's a big transition, not just for you, but also for your wife and for everybody in the family. So to have a plan of this is what's going to happen, these are the phases we're going to go through, this is expected, these are the strategies we've got to cope with it together. Yeah, I think that would be very, very useful. And going back, I wish I'd had that sort of mentoring support outside of the game, because you can't talk to your coach. Because the coach potentially, unless he's a legend, is going to see that as weakness. And
when you got 100 grand a year, and you don't think you need another job, but the worry you have, okay, is when you finish, you come to an end, 100 grand a year, maybe especially in London's different, but in Wales, you try and get a job 100 grand, and all of a sudden, what happens then is you got your nice car payments, your wife's got a lovely car payments, she's not working. You're in a mortgage, which is like real levied up. When that finishes and you can't get that 100 grand, right? All of a sudden, you see it all unfolding. And as Stimo said, it's not when the money goes in, quality of life. You don't want to go out. You can't go out. You can't have a car. You can't go to the beautician. Your wife can't go to the beauticians. Maybe the kids are in a private school. You're gone. And that just unravels so quickly.
For me, I don't know how Saracens run the model, but there is definitely time within the program to put in some sort of, even if it's two or 3 hours a day on skill development, business development, education, some sort of format. And so I'd be interested in how Saracens run their week, because clearly they've got investments with Nigel, but they're so proactive in mentoring their players, and anybody that goes in there seems to come out with something.
If you get through to the clubs or the regions, this would improve their team or region. I think that's where the key is. You know, you've got a 2-hour slot in the day. Don't go to Costco or don't go being with somebody you shouldn't be with. Just knuckle down and do your lot. And so I think then, if you tell them that you're preparing for the end of your career, because at the end of your career comes like that. It is there. I can still remember, you know, signing rugby league. I still remember finishing playing for Cardiff, and then going into, you know, a different world. So you just got to kind of. I think the biggest job for all of us, if we want to help, is to get people to appreciate that you have to prepare.
I think the game to an extent has isolated itself as well, you know. And the biggest thing I've learning with younger players now is, well, it was the same when I was back in my time at Leeds in particular, is the rapport and the relationships you try and build with, or you need to build, I should say, with players now has never ever been as important.
See yourselves custodian of the values of the game. I think you might have mentioned it, Martin, at the top is, I think clubs have a responsibility to, there's obviously a playing programme, and then I think there has to be a parallel education programme that runs alongside.
Totally agree.
And part of your contract is that you have to fulfil that parallel life. And you don't get, some of your wages is aligned to running that in parallel.
This is a position you want to be in when you're 31. You can say, right, shall I play another couple of years? Oh yeah, I'm enjoying it. I will play. Not them saying to you, sorry mate, you're gone, right? And at 31 years of age, you'll have a couple of kids who are in school. You've got to shift your house, shift your kids from school. And then in 2 years' time, you don't know where you're going to be or what you're doing.
I came up with a phrase called the business of you. And that's what I think we should be helping these players understand, that they're a business. They've got a playing career, and then they've got another 50 years they've got to earn a living. You know, and if they could be running both businesses at the same time. So one business is about personal development. One business is just about, these are the skills. This is the skill gap I've got. You know, whether it is an education in a trade, whether it is an education to become qualified and to be a solicitor, but they're working hard on that, the business of them outside of rugby all the time. So as the players aren't listening at the moment, and the clubs have been too short-sighted to care about the player beyond his playing days, what we've got to do is prove that financially to the player that you'll be better off if you work on your second career at the same time, and to the club, this player's performance will be stronger even through his last year of his career. I think you might have done some research that says that in the last year of your contract, your performance dips, not just because you're old, but because you're scared about what's happening next year.
Clubs should be saying and encouraging, and the RPAs should be encouraging, that this is part of what you have to do daily or weekly or monthly.
That's the only way it gets credibility, if it's in a contract and it's scheduled in the working programs during the week.
Giving them an opportunity for them to understand, you know, the transferable skills they learn, you know, throughout their playing careers, whether, you know, it's understanding how to build a network, or, you know, where they identify a field of interest, time management, whatever the case might be, giving them that confidence as they go through the journey, you know, that they are building skills, and when it does come to an end, there are opportunities for them to continue. It'll never be the same in many ways, as the boys have alluded to anyway, in terms of running out with your mates every week. Things will change and it won't be the same.